Hello and welcome back to the Dante in a Year podcast. My name is Danny Fitzpatrick. Let's continue with Dante's Paradiso, Canto 20. When he who illumines all the world so descends from our hemisphere that the day in every place is consumed, the sky, kindled of him alone at first, is suddenly remade, appearing in many lights in which one shines back. And this act of the sky came to my mind as the seal of the world and its leaders was silent in its blessed beak, so that all those vivid lights, growing more luminous, commenced chants which lap and cascade from my memory. O sweet love, who mantle yourself in a smile, how ardent you appeared in those flutes who have only the spirit of saintly thoughts. After the rare and livid lapis I saw ingeminate the sixth light put silence to the angelic setting, I seemed to hear a murmur of streams that cascade clear down rock on rock, showing the exuberance of the summit. And as sound at the collar of the lute takes its form, or just as wind that penetrates the bagpipe at its opening, so, removed of expecting indulgence, that murmur of the eagle ascended along its neck, as though it were hollow. Then it gave voice, and there issued through its beak in the form of words that which I'd awaited in the heart where I inscribed them. The part of me that sees and suffers the sun in mortal eagle, it commenced to me, you ought now fixedly regard. For of the fires whence I form my figure, those which scintillate the eyes in my head are supreme among all their ranks. He who illumines its midst as a pupil was the singer of the Holy Spirit, who bore the ark from village to village. Now he knows the merit of his song. Inasmuch as it was affected of his counsel, so much as is he rewarded for it. Of the five who form the curve of my brow, he who's closest to the beak consoled the widow concerning her son. Now he knows how dear it costs not to follow Christ, through the experience of this sweet life and its opposite, and that one who follows on the circumference of that I describe, along the upward arc, delayed death through true penitence. Now he knows the eternal judgment is not transmuted, when one with worthy prayer delays what would have come today there below. The next who follows, with the laws and with me, under good intention which brought forth bad fruit, made himself Greek to cede to the shepherd. Now he knows how the evil induced of his good works isn't harmful to him, though it was destructive to the world. And that one you see in the ark's decline was William, whom those lands implore that complain of Charles and Frederick yet living. Now he knows how heaven is enamored of the just king, as the semblance of his refulgence yet gives us to see. Who now wandering in the world below would believe that Ripheus the Trojan would be the fifth of the saintly lights in this round? Now he knows so much of that the world can't see of the divine grace, though even his vision can't discern the depth. As the lark that fills the air, first in singing and then keeps quiet, content with the ultimate sweetness which sates it, so the image seemed to me of the imprint of the eternal pleasure, at whose desire each thing becomes what it is. And though there I was to my doubt just as glass to the color that it vests, I couldn't suffer to await the time keeping quiet, but from my mouth was pressed with the force of its weight, what are these things? Since I saw a grand glittering festival. After that, with eye blazing brighter, the blessed sign replied to me not to keep me suspended in my marveling. I see that you believe these things since I say them, though you don't see how, so that, though they're believed, they remain obscure. You act as he who apprehends a thing by name, but can't see its quiddity should another not assist him. Regnum celorum suffers violence of ardent love and vivid hope, which conquer the divine will. Not in the way a man subdues man, but conquers it since it wills to be conquered, and conquered, conquers with its beneficence. The first life of the brow and the fifth make you marvel, since you see them painted in the region of the angels. They issued from their bodies not as you believe, Gentiles, but Christians, in firm faith, the one in the piercing, the other in their having been pierced. For the one returned to his bones from the inferno, where none have ever returned to good will, and that was the pearl of his vivid hope, of the vivid hope that gave power to the prayers made to God to resurrect him, such that his will might be able to be moved. The glorious soul of which I spoke returned to the flesh, though only for a bit, believed in him who was able to aid him, and, believing, was set with such a flame of true love that at the second death he was worthy to come to this joy. The other, by grace distilled of so profound a fountain that never has a creature pressed its eye to the ultimate source, put all his love there below in uprightness, so that, from grace on grace, God spread his eye to our future redemption, at which he believed in that, and from then no more suffered the stench of paganism, and he reprimanded the perverse peoples. Those 3 ladies that you saw on the right wheel were there for his baptism, more than a millennium before baptism began. O predestination, how remote is your route from those expectant ones who cannot see all the first course. And you, mortals, restrict yourselves in judgment, for we, who see God, know not yet all the elect. And to be ignorant thus is sweet to us, for our good is born to its end in their good. As that God wills, we will as well. So soft medicine was given me by that divine image to make my short sight clear. And as the good guitarist makes the shimmering of his chords follow the good singer, so that the song takes on new beauty, so while it spoke, I recall that I saw the 2 blessed lights accord just as the batting of eyes, their flaming moving with the words. Thanks for joining me for this episode of the Dante in a Year podcast. See you next time for Dante's Paradiso, Canto 21.